Yep.
How was being at home sick growing up? That sucked.
I'm
You
sorry.
got a
dude.
haircut.
I thought you were talking about Ferguson's birthday.
Oh,
I Ferguson's here.
I like it like this.
I am.
Get the beaver shit.
Toward the end of book 1, Aeneas pops out and does his Mighty Mouse thing, the kind of here I am to save the day. Dido and the Carthaginians usher him and his men into her palace. Skip over to 643 of book 1. This is nothing anybody's prepared.
Yes.
Get your text up here. But 643, Aeneas rapidum ad navis primetit Achatein. He sends Achates back to the ships. So now that Ilioneus, that part of the Trojans, we heard their appeal to Dido, right? Aeneas has now popped out of the clouds, said, "Hey boys, I'm here." He then sends, and Dido invites him in. He sends Achates back to the ships to bring the other folks, and you see there in line 646 a reference to whom? Ascanius, right, his son. And he wants Ascanius to bring some gifts. Again, this is your hospitality stuff, right? So Dido's doing the hospitable thing. Aeneas hasn't even really received anything yet from Dido, but he's going to show good faith. He wants to bring some gifts. And so he sends Achates to Ascanius and says, go get this, this, and this from the Trojan treasure that has survived. And we're going to bring this as gifts. Yes?
So Ascanius was a baby when they left Troy. And how old is he now?
That's a wonderful question. And I read an article about it about a year ago. Never is Ascanius' age ever defined. What do we have? We know that he was little enough he could walk. We know he could walk, so he's not a baby in Troy, because he followed his father out, right, holding him. We know that. In a part that comes later that we're not going to read, Aeneas lands and finds Hector's wife, Andromache, and she's remarried, another Trojan, but they're still away from Troy. And Andromache gets all worked up because she sees Ascanius, and she does one of these kind of motherly things. She picks him up and she says, you remind me of my own. Well, her own was pretty little. Styanax was pretty little because he was scared of his daddy's horsehair crest, so we don't know that kind of stuff. So we may kind of assume that maybe these two kids are about the same age. But obviously, the one boy's dead and the other boy has continued on. We get a reference coming up later. He's little enough to sit, he's little enough to sit either on Dido's lap or beside her at the dinner. And, obviously, you're too old at this age for relatives or friends of your relatives to sit you on their lap. So obviously he's not your age. Okay? I assume that's the case. Maybe not with some people. Anyhow, so there's that. Then, while they're there at Carthage, there's going to be a hunt. And Ascanius wants to go out and kill a lion. He's able to ride a horse and participate in a hunt. When the boys finally get to Italy, he actually leads some forces. Well, there's some funeral games, which we'll get to. We'll talk about that. There's some funeral games he participates in. Although he decidedly, very pointed, Virgil makes it, he doesn't get to participate in all the games of the men. But he does get to participate in some of the games, like the running races and so forth. He leads some men into battle when Aeneas is having his ultimate battle with the Latins in the second half of the Aeneid. So I say all that stuff to say that's all we know. So how do you figure? In my mind, I'd have him around 5 to 7 at Troy. I'd put him up to around maybe 11 in Carthage, 11 or 12 in Carthage. And then as we move on into Italy, I think we're probably in that 12, 13, 14 kind of range. But again, that's pure speculation based on these clues and then what we all know of children, boys, and kind of how they act and behave. So that's the best we can do. So it's a great question. It's just not definitively answerable.
Yeah, because like, at first I was thinking of him as a kid, I was like, well, he's like, a 4 or 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And then like suddenly he can go and treasure, and I was like, they spent a lot of time at sea.
Well, as I think I told you guys, the book I wrote for Austin last year was the Aeneid, told from the perspective of Ascanius. So one of the first questions I had to deal with is, how old is this kid? How do I make him? And Austin was 11 last year, and I gave him this book for his 11th birthday. So I definitely had Ascanius, when you open up and see him for the first time in Carthage, and I did it in 12 chapters, parallel to 12 books, I had him about Austin's age. So, but again, I was doing that research to see what other people had said about it. And then there were different opinions. I mean, some people peg it earlier and younger and so forth, but that seems to be reasonable. So he says, go back, get our stuff, bring some nice gifts, this, that, and the other thing. Okay? We press on, and they're going to have their dinner now. And the thing is, there's a part in here in line 657 and following, all the way through about 685 and so forth. Well, really, I guess even 690s, where Venus plays a trick. She disguises Cupid as Ascanius. So while he is out, he's getting the gifts, he's at the ships and so forth, making his way back to the city with Achates and other men, Venus has sent Cupid in disguise as Ascanius to Dido. And it's to start to kind of work on her a little bit. And one thing, there's never a great reconciliation. In fact, she actually whisks the real Ascanius away. She puts him on a mountainside in a slumber. She puts him, I'll say she puts him to sleep, but that's kind of the wrong image. It's not the same kind of put to sleep as the family dog. But anyhow, she puts him to slumber on a mountainside while Cupid steps in and imitates Ascanius. That's one place where I say there's no really good resolution. We never see how the real Ascanius gets back, but he does.
Man, it's just like,
But it does.
Dark Knight Rises.
How
I'm
no
like,
one saw, no one had anything.
dang.
Other than supposed to be with him getting the gifts.
Listen, again, suspension of disbelief, right? You gotta put that aside. And so they have their dinner, and it's nice, etc. And Dido now wants to hear the story. Okay, so you can imagine this, right? Oil lamps are starting to burn low. We've had lots to eat. We've had lots to drink. The Trojan men and the Carthaginians, they're all kind of kicking back and relaxing, probably here in the palace. Small conversations here and there. And Dido now turns to Aeneas and says, hey, big boy, tell me your story. We pick it up beginning of book 2, and I know the first whatever number of lines, 39 lines, you did not prepare. You were to have read in English. I do want to go through them with you because I hate that they're not part of the reading anymore, for one thing. They're very, I think these are some good lines. And we don't go through everything, but I will tell you that as we progress on exams, not everything is going to be from prepared passages. So there will be sections on an exam, at least one section on an exam, probably each exam, from what we call an unseen
Will it
passage.
a translation sometimes?
Probably not.
Thank God.
Probably not, but analysis. And there will be unseens where it might be something like this, where we've talked about it, but you haven't actually translated it, we didn't go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Then there may be some unseens of stuff that we've never talked about at all. Okay?
Killing me for it.
Okay, so we got to get you, big boy, big girl Latin, right? Okay. Canticuet omnes intentiquora tenebant. They all grew silent, and everybody held their faces in rapt attention. Inde toro pater Aeneas corsus volto, and then Father Aeneas rose from his high couch. And I thought I liked this line. He says, Infandum regina, ubes renovare dolorem. Unspeakable, in plus for father. Unspeakable, O queen, is the dolorem, the grief that you base implied may renovare. The grief that you order me. Now break this verb down. It's from an adjective,
So no why?
Renovare. Re plus the adjective novus. To renew. You want me to go back and relive the horrors of the end of my civilization. And that is nearly unspeakable. To tell you all of that stuff. He says, things which in line 5, ipse miserrima vidi. Things which I myself saw. Miserrima things.
The most.
Beautiful, got that superlative. Most miserable, wretched things. Quarrel. What case is that?
Genitive?
Genitive. Who said genitive?
Me.
Yes, that's the guy, that's the cameraman.
Oh,
Who
Hi.
is not on this
No,
credit.
it's O-R-U-N.
O-R-U-N. Of which he says, I was a magna pars. I was a large part. Okay. Questalia fondo member. Okay. He says, who out of the Myrmidons or the Dolopians or what soldier of harsh Ulysses could hold back from lacrimis when fondo, there's the positive form in fondo, now it's fondo, when speaking Talia, such things. He says, even those hard hearts, those Greeks, Myrmidons were Achilles' people, Dolopians was another band of the Greeks, and of course we know Ulysses. He says, who even of them could hold back the tears? And we know they're heartless. He says, I gotta tell you, he says, Yam nox umidakaila precipitas vadenque cadentia sidro somnos. He says, look, it's getting dark. He says, the stars, swadent somnos, the stars are persuading sleep. We really ought to be turning in here. But, si tantus amor casus cognoscere nostros, breviter Troiae supremum audira laborem, if there is such a great amor, love to understand nostros casus, our misfortunes, our the stuff that has befallen us, and to hear briefly the supremum laborem Troiae, the final labor of Troy. If you really want to know, quanimus meminis soret luctuque refugit incipio. Although my mind horret to meminisse.
Is scared.
Scared, it shudders to recall these things. And it flees, it refugit from Luke 2. It flees from grief. Nevertheless, incipio, I shall begin. And I think it's really a neat transition into book 2. I think it's well done. And I love it. I love it. He slams the Greeks. He says, fracti bello fatisquere repulsi. You've got a beautiful chiasmus there. Participle, ablative noun, participle. Broken by war and driven back by the fates. the leaders of the Danaans, blah, 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 blah. So he starts his story by talking about the Greeks, but he can't resist getting a jab in out. Okay? They're broken by war. We had them on the ropes. Right? They're being driven back by the fates. They should have lost. These guys, Yam Labenti Bazanis, they've been beaten for so many years. And of course, you guys know the Trojan War lasts for how long? 10 years. And so he kind of picks it up here in this last year of the war. And he says, well, these guys, they instar montes equum divina paladas arte aedifica. He says they build this thing like a montes, like a mountain. It's an equum is what it is.
A horse.
And they did it with the divina arte paladas. With the divine
Can you repeat that other word?
divina arte. Ars artis feminine.
Art? No.
Real art or skill, with the divine skill of Pallas. So they got some help from Pallas Athena. And they weave, they intexunt.
Wait, isn't Athena, isn't that Achilles' mom?
No, that's
Venus.
Thetis.
Ah,
Thetis.
no, okay.
But think about it. Athena is the goddess of what?
Strategy.
War, but also what?
Strategy.
Wisdom.
Weaving. Think about the Arachne story.
Oh,
She's the
that's
goddess
right.
of weaving. And so what do? They're weaving this wooden structure. And so she's the goddess of it.
That'd be really cool to see like all those like branches like woven like I don't
Weaving
know
themselves.
like an actual
String.
yeah it's not like it's nailed together, it's like it's flowing together.
Right.
Oh, I know, like a cornucopia.
Well,
Yeah.
like a basket, I suppose.
Yeah.
Of sorts. Which you never see it depicted that way. I don't think. I mean, you always see like planks.
Yeah,
Right,
you
yeah,
always see
that's
it
exactly
Yeah.
It's easy to draw that way.
Well, that could be. Or nobody bothers to
could
read
be.
Virgil. Anyhow, they cover over the ribs with pine wood, abieta, and they pretend, they simulate that it's a votum pro reditu, that it's a vow or a votive offering for their return. A fama legata. This is the report that is spread around. Huc delecta virum sortiti corpora furtem includent caeco literi, or lateri plentusque covernas, gentis uterum quormato milite complet. And they take this picked body of men, delecta corpora virum, short for virorum, this picked body of men, okay, and they hide them, they hide them secretly in the caeco lateri, in the dark flank of the horse. And they fill up the deep cavernas, the deep open or empty spaces, deep caverns, with a whole bunch of armed men. Now there is, he says, in conspectu tenedos. Now he says, you got to picture this, Queen. He says there is right offshore, in conspectu, you can see it right from the shore. There's this island named Tenedos, right off the coast of Troy. It's notissimo, very famous. Matter of fact, he says it was dives. It was rich in resources, this island was. And this is where he gets his first tear in his eye. He says, back when the kingdom of Priam, Maneba, remained. Yeah. And that's when he has his little first moment there. Now, he says, tantum sinus et statio male fide carinis. Now it is simply a harbor, or a bay. One that is male fide. You've got a litotes here. Who remembers litotes?
You mean
Oh, well, you're not stupid.
oh, you go, okay.
Yep.
So is it where it's like you go around it, like you're not directly saying?
It is a form of a paraphrastic statement, which is a going around. Specifically, it's saying one thing by denying the opposite. I don't want to come right out and say you're smart, it's also you're not stupid.
Like the Epictetus where it's like you
What's that?
did, like with Cicero where he was like,
Right.
I don't want to talk about how you did all these.
Well, that was Praeteritio.
Oh, okay.
But he did do litotes, but I can't remember an example right now. He says this island is male fida. It is badly loyal. It is disloyal.
Yeah, it's not loyal.
Now, it should have been loyal to us because it's off the coast of Troy. But instead, he calls it now as badly loyal to Carines, to ships. The reason is he's going to describe the fact that as you think about a map, right? If the Greeks are going to sail from Troy, they're going to be sailing which direction?
From Troy.
From Troy.
South.
You got to sail west. Okay. What they did was they went around the back side of this island, and it looked like they were sailing away to Greece. Instead, they just docked their ships on the back side of the island, so they could come back out at night. And that's why he refers to this island now as being badly loyal, because it betrayed the Trojans, almost personifying it. Okay. And he says, okay. So there's that. He says, we thought they'd all gone. We thought they'd all gone home to Mycenae. And so the Trojans come out now, and again, you can imagine after a major battle in a city or something, after the troops have moved on, people come out and start looking around. And he says, we started looking around, and in line 29, he says, Hic dolopum manus, hic Cyrus tinde about Achilles. Everybody starts coming out and looking around, and they're remembering. They're like, oh yeah, right over here, that's where the Dolopians used to camp. And right over here, I remember seeing Achilles stretch his bow. And so they're coming out on the beach, everything's gone, but they're remembering stuff. And then, holy mackerel, we see the horse. Par stupet in nuptae donum exitiale minervae et moldem mirantur equi. He says, a part of us, we just stupid. Wow. I was stood agape. Can't believe it at this donum, this gift for unmarried Minerva. And some of our people, they just mirantur, they just wonder at the sheer molem of this, the sheer mass of this horse. Primusque thymoites, duci intra muros portatur et arche locari. Now, I've told classes this for ever. One of these days, this is going to win you big money on Jeopardy. This is going to be a final Jeopardy question. Mark my words. Who was the first guy, because they'll make it as a statement, the first guy to suggest taking the Trojan horse into the city? Who was Thymoetes? Now that is a Jeopardy question, I'm telling you right now. Thymoetes, he says, was the primus. He was the first guy. You better believe it. First guy to suggest that this thing be duci intramuros, that it be led inside the walls, and arche locari, and placed up on the citadel. Ad Capus, another guy, Capus, however, says, don't do this, but rather suggests that the whole thing be set on flames and thrown into the ocean.
That would have been really, really good.
Would have been the better thing. Okay. Now, where are we picking up? Right here, line 40? Okay. Primus ibante, ibantomnes magna combatante caterva le aquam, arde summa de currena barque. Now, before them all, ante omnes, came Laocoon. Got to pronounce his name right, folks. It's not Laocoon. Okay, it's Laocoon. Be sure you always pronounce that right. You sound intelligent. Before all others, first there was Laocoon. Laocoon with a magna combatante caterva. With a great crowd attending him, he ordains I gotta say, some folks make me nervous with no homework to correct or anything there. But ordains, what's ordains mean? To burn, burning. This guy is just passionate, and he decurrit summa of arche. He runs down from the very tip top of the citadel, and while he's still procul, while he's still far off, Oh, misery, quae tant insania cives. Which is a big, long, poetic Latin way of saying, no! Right, it's one of those, it's that slow motion. All right, those of you who go all the way back with me to first year. Is there anybody in this room who goes back that far?
Yeah.
You four? Okay. And then the student helpers in the back. Wow, half the class. You go back that far, don't you? Okay, yeah. You remember that Odyssey movie?
Yes.
When Helen comes away and Ulysses' mother's going to kill herself, drown herself in the sea, and Helen runs out and jumps in front of her and goes, no! Like, okay, that's Laocoon, right? Except he's a guy. And he doesn't say no, but it's the same thing. He says, oh, misery cives!
Oh, miserable.
Now, I gotta tell you, you gotta develop some breadth on miser. Miser can mean miserable, but I gotta be honest, when I think of miserable, I think of a head cold. Miser also means wretched, and while unfortunately we don't use that word much anymore, I think it's a very good word.
I like that.
And I think wretched is considerably worse off than just a head cold. Okay? So miserable, poor will work as long as you don't understand poor to mean out of pocket poor. It's like when somebody says, oh, those poor people who suffered that, they made that hurricane or something. In that sense of poor. Yeah.
Okay, a little bit stupid moment. How do you spell wretched?
WRETCHED, and I respect that tremendously. I remember asking, I was a little boy, I remember I would always ask my parents if I didn't know a word. And I remember reading this book and I didn't understand this word. It was ladled. L-A-D-L-E-D, ladled. I thought, what the heck is ladled? And I asked my mother, and she had no idea what you're talking about. And she said, spell it. And I spelled it, and she's like, oh, that's ladled. But, I mean, it looked like ladled to me, in elementary school. So, anyhow. Oh, wretched citizens, quae tanta insania! What so great insanity is this? What, are you freaking nuts? Creditus avectos hostes? Come on. Do you creditus?
Do you believe?
Do you believe? And we've got an indirect statement here because hostes is accusative.
Yeah.
And avectos is really avectos esse. Do you believe that the hostes, that the enemy avectos esse, have sailed away? Out ulla putatis dona carela dolis daneum, or do you putatis, synonym for cogitatis? Cogitatis, putatis. Do you think that ulla dona, again we got another accusative leading into an indirect statement. Do you think that ulla dona? Ulla is a word you don't probably know, we haven't seen it that much, it's actually pretty common. Do you think that any dona, any gifts of the Danians, and who are the Danians? The Greeks. Do you think that any gifts of the Greeks, carrera dolis, are free from deceit? Seriously? Do you think even one, I don't care how nice it looks. Do you think that there's not a trick in this? Sic notus Ulysses? Isn't this what Ulysses is known for? Out hoc inclusi ligno occultantur acivi, out haecum nostros fabricatas machina muros, inspectura domos, venturaque de super urbi. Out malicus latito. Now, out. Right? Either or. Either this or this or this. There's one of these things that's got to be going on here. Either there are Achaewi. There are Greeks. Occultantur. Hidden, all inclusive, enclosed in hoc ligno. In this wood. Either this thing is hollow and is filled with Greek soldiers, option A, or haec machina, this machine has been fabricata est has been made or fabricated against nuestros muros, against our walls. This may be some kind of a siege engine, guys. Maybe they made something to go against our walls. About to inspectura, about to look into our domos, our homes, about to ventura de super urbi, about to come down into our city, or there's aliquis error latet. There's some other trick, latet, hiding. Now, I gotta say, dude's not bad having nailed what it actually is on the first try, But here he says, Chucri ne credite equo. Don't trust the horse. And here is probably the most famous line in all of ancient literature, certainly Latin literature. He says, quid id est.
Yeah, I didn't get this one.
Yeah, okay, now it's kind of takes the wind out of the sails and we don't really flow along with this one. Quid, whatever. Quid is literally whatever. Whatever id est, whatever it is, I timeo daneos. I fear the Greeks. Et means even here, short for etiam. Even. Ferentes dona. Even bearing gifts.
Oh, I know this one.
Now, that gets misquoted as a command. People will misquote this as a command. Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. That's the classic line. People go around saying, beware of Greeks bearing gifts. That's actually not what Virgil says. He says, I fear the Greeks, even when they bring gifts.
What's kind of more like advice?
Yeah, as if people probably don't like using the translation so much.
Well, right.
Look at what he said.
That's right. I will say the thing to realize here, folks, is this is it. This is the origin of the horse story. It's Virgil, not Homer.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
The Iliad ends before this, and the Odyssey picks up after the war's over. So there is no story of the Trojan horse in Homer. It's Virgil, book 2, who tells the story.
That's tricky.
I've
That's
never-
different.
Yeah, that's worth knowing.
That's wild.
Yep, you're
Can I
seeing,
go
you're
back?
seeing it here. Okay.
Can I get back to the bathroom?
Well, I
Never
don't
mind,
know.
that's not right. It's cool. It's
No,
cool.
it's
Doesn't
not.
matter. Oh,
No,
is
it's
it,
on
is
the
it not?
schedule.
No, we go to 49.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 49.
we got-
I didn't
we
go
got-
in the bathroom.
we got like 8 minutes, man.
Yeah, it was fine. It was
Right.
fine.
All right, you could go out for a soda in 8 minutes. All right. Fries too. All right. Sigfatus. Thus he fatus. Yeah, thus he spoke. Thus he spoke. Validiis in gentem viribus hastam in latus, inque ferri curam compagibus alum contorsit. And this guy, this Laocoon, I'm going to find out later he's a priest. This priest, with validiis viribus, with mighty viribus. Now, let's see if anybody gets viribus here. Strength, thank you. This isn't weary. It's that irregular noun we swim we, and in the plural, it can mean violence. It can mean violence or strength or force. With massive force, great force, he grabbed the verb contorsit. He hurled an ingentem hastam,
Spear.
a huge spear, against its latus, against its side, its flank, and against the curvam olvum, against the curvam olvum,
Against the body.
against the
Curved.
curved body of the ferry. Of the beast, of the beast. And I love line 52. Statit illa tremens. Illa's feminine, hosta's feminine. So the illa is referring to the spear. The spear stated, stood there, sticking out of the horse, tremens. It's just like in the cartoons, it hits and goes thunk and then goes wobble, 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 wobble. I love that. I think it's great. Way before the Coyote
I
and
thought this was gonna be
Roadrunner.
like some philosophy or something.
No, it's just wobble, 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 wobble.
It's just like cartoons. Yes.
Here's the thing. You betray, all of you, a certain, how should we put it, arrogance. If you would put philosophy up here and cartoons down
Okay.
here. I put them on about a similar plane.
Not
Oh.
similar. It's not.
Honest.
Oh.
It's like, that's good.
Apples and
That's
oranges.
good.
Apples and oranges, it's all fruit, yes.
Actually, in my critical thinking class, Mr. Townsend,
Uh-huh.
he actually uses quite frequently cartoons to help depict
Yes.
like fallacies
Yes,
or.
yes. Cartoons, in all honesty, not all of this way, but a lot of cartoons are actually very intelligent and play on logic and
Classic
yeah, classic cartoons.
Exactly.
ones.
What was that?
Sponge. That's what.
I'm sorry, do what?
It's there. It's definitely a show.
I try not to.
Squidbillies.
I have to admit.
Lot of
Okay,
philosophy underlining.
so there it goes. Boing, wobble, 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 wobble. Now, in Sanuera Kawai, the Kawai, the hollow spaces in Sanuera. Echoed. Shouldn't that have been a clue to everybody? When this spear hits the wood and goes thunk, there's an echoing sound from inside. Thing's hollow.
And then he said it was hollow?
And well, I mean, and he had suggested that there might be something hiding inside. And lo and behold, Gemitum Dedera Cavernai, and the cavernous spaces gave forth a gemitum, a groan. Now I don't know if that was a human groan from one of the guys inside going, ah! I mean, I don't know if it was that, or just the wood groaning as it got struck by the spear, but either way, says Aeneas,